Nowadays you might be having this news that from Europe there is a kind of refugee system going on. People are having exodus. Now recently there was a news that Yemen, that is a Middle East country, Yemen has made some airstrikes, and because of which crude oil prices are going up. There is a reason for it. If crude oil price will go up, in that very case India need to shell out much more rupees to buy dollars. But crude oil is also quoted in US dollar terms. And these things are very much important for you people in SFM. How many of you know there is a concept known as a safety net arrangement? What is safety net arrangement? In IPO it is a concept.
During the first 6 months after the shares are listed on the stock exchange, the price goes down to the RIAs, the company will refund their money.
Taken. Only she knows, I don't know why. There is a concept of safety net arrangement in SEBI guidelines. What happens basically if IPO is being there and IPO is not successful, that is the price of IPO is coming down after getting listed. In such a case, the company has an option to buy back the shares from the investors. When IPO is being brought back, or I must say purchased back, it becomes safety net arrangement. This is a concept in SEBI guidelines and is relevant for your this November examination. Reason being, the safety net arrangement is under discussion with SEBI, that the safety net arrangement, which at present is the option, should be maintained. To take an example, quite some years back there was an IPO of Reliance Power Limited, that Anil Ambani's company. Now when this IPO came up for Reliance Power Limited, every single investment was having a sentiment that the price will go up once the shares are listed. Now when shares were listed, the price of this Reliance Power company came down to rupees 91 from rupees 200. Now the investors like me and you, they were worried that we invested because it's a Mani's company, but the prices are not coming down. Considering that very scenario, it was being considered, why not, we must have a buyback option in IPO. Suppose that the buyback is not getting successful, suppose that the IPO is not getting successful, why not the promoters should purchase back the share? That is nothing but safety net. So why safety net? That promoters are providing safety to the investors that if you will not be happy after some time, we will buy back your shares. The period available is 6 months only. That is, if IPO is listed on 1st of January, 30th June is the last date up till which the safety net can take place. This concept is in their SEBI guidelines. You have to do. Green shoe option is the price stabilizing agent. Green shoe option is not for buyback, rather for further supply of shares. Suppose that there is an oversubscription. When there is oversubscription, the pro rata allotment shall be carried out by virtue of green shoe option. If you see in class 12th, you might have covered this pro rata allotment or might be in CA intermediate, that when there is oversubscription, the further shares are allotted. When further shares would be allotted, it will increase the supply of shares in the market. When supply of shares will increase, price will come down. That's why it is known as price stabilizing agent. Whereas safety net means you are not happy with the IPO. So promoters will buy back, take back your money and I will buy back. But this buyback cannot take place at increased price. It will take place at par value only, face value only. Anyhow, keep this heading CARA 2015, notified on 10th of April 2015. The flowcharts for this are given in your printouts itself. 16 marks question is for sure on CARA 2015. On CARA 2015 in India, there are 3 commentaries available. One is the statement on applicability of CARA issued by ICAI, which is applicable for the syllabus. We will cover even. Second commentary is of around 3,000 pages, which is from Mr. Dolphy D'Souza of Ernst & Young. Third commentary of a stupid person, Kamal Garg, which is again into around 3,000 pages. And all these 3 commentaries are available in market and questions are being asked out of these 3 commentaries. I will cover all these 3 commentaries for your examination purpose. So you need not do all these 3,000 pages because you need to see a final note as a consultant. But yes, we people in ICI do refer these commentaries for the purpose of examination frontier. If you remember last class, I gave a referendum. What if intangibles need to be verified? What if fixed assets are converted to stock and trade and vice versa? What if the company was not carrying on a single paisa of business through the year? These kind of reportings are dealt in this commentary. And ICI get this question on CARA from this commentary itself. Let us discuss one by one. I am taking a presumption that you people have covered a chapter of allied law, interpretation of statutes. I am taking this presumption. Now if you have covered, very good. If you have not covered, I will cover one rule in this very chapter. See very carefully. Things are easy, but things are typical as well. I will not say difficult. First of all, we must understand why we read Caro. There must be some valid reason. It's not merely the obligation of statutory auditor to discharge. In a company, if Caro is applicable, I repeat my statement up till here. In a company, if Caro is applicable, their statutory auditors are duty bound to report on 12 additional matters. I repeat, if on a company Caro is applicable, then their statutory auditors need to report on 12 additional matters, and these 12 additional matters are known as proprietary reporting. I discussed yesterday. Now, it does mean that if Caro is not applicable, then 12 additional reporting material need not be in the audit report. If Caro is applicable, then 12 additional points need to be there in audit report. Everything is revolving around nothing but the applicability. Listen very carefully now. It does signifies Caro's discussion can be made in two broad headings. One is the applicability, second is the reportability. I will start from applicability. Listen very carefully. Caro is applicable to foreign companies as well without examination of further conditions. As per section 2, clause number 42, which you studied in company law, foreign companies are defined like this. Foreign company means a company which is established, which is incorporated outside India and has established a place of business in India. That is nothing but a foreign company. So what you need to remember is, on foreign company, Caro is always applicable. As far as examination is concerned, this point is immaterial. They will not ask you because this is the main content. Now listen further and be very, very alert. Please don't write along with me because things may be missed out, and all the commentaries I will dictate. Caro is not applicable, listen very carefully, Caro is not applicable to banking companies, insurance companies and Section 8 companies. I repeat, Caro is not applicable to banking companies, insurance companies and Section 8 companies. It does mean that if these companies are subject to statutory audit, then their statutory auditors need not report upon 12 additional points. Things are not that much simple. Just perceive the commentary part. This commentary is not there in ICR, this commentary is there with my book and Dolphy D'Souza's book. The words used are banking company. In such a sense, there is no need to make any distinction between whether it is a Punjab National Bank or ICICI Bank or Yes Bank. That does mean that there is no need to make any distinction what kind of bank it is. It may be public sector bank, it may be private sector bank, it may be foreign bank as well. I will dictate later on. Further, the words used are banking company, not non-banking financial corporation. It does mean that Caro may or may not be applicable on Mallapuram Finance, because Mallapuram Finance is nothing but non-banking financial corporation. I repeat my words. Caro may or may not be applicable to Mallapuram Finance. For example, if Mallapuram Finance company name is Mallapuram Finance Limited, Caro always is applicable because it's a public company. But if I say Mallapuram Finance Private Limited, then Caro may not be applicable depending upon these conditions which we are yet to cover. Number second, the words used are insurance company. There is no need to make any distinction as to what kind of business insurance company is carrying on. It may be into general insurance business, it may be into life insurance business. It does mean that Caro is not applicable to Life Insurance Corporation of India. Caro is also not applicable to Cholamandalam Insurance Company Limited. Caro is also not applicable to New India Insurance Company Limited. Caro is also not applicable to Oriental Insurance Company Limited. Caro is also not applicable to Tata AIG Insurance Company Limited. Are you getting this point? Then, Section 8 company. Caro is not applicable to those companies which are licensed companies to carry out certain charitable activities, that is Section 8 companies. In erstwhile Companies Act, these are known as Section 25. For example, Caro is not applicable to ICI. Caro is not applicable to ICSI because these are Section 8 companies. Caro is not applicable to Bombay Chartered Accounting Society, Section 8 company. Caro is not applicable to PhD Chamber of Commerce, Section 8 company. Caro is not applicable to FICCI, Chartered Section 8 company, and so on. Similarly, Caro is not applicable to Board for Cricket Control in India, Section 8 company. Now, surprisingly, every Section 8 company is a cash-rich company. Still, they are saying that we are nothing but charitable companies. You are asking something, sir?
Section, you said that insurance, Max Life Insurance is
Max Life Insurance is outside Caro purview because it's an insurance company. every single company which is registered under Insurance Act 1938 is exempted from the purview of CARO. Up till now any problem? Now let me change the question. Can I say that my company is ABC Private Limited and this ABC Private Limited is a subsidiary of Punjab National Bank Limited and hence CARO is not applicable on ABC Private Limited? Answer is correct, but the reason. CARO is not applicable or CARO is applicable?
It is not applicable.
Because I took no in different sense that my statement is wrong.
It will not be the banking company.
If a private limited company
The price.
is a subsidiary of a public company, then CARO always is applicable. You will never make this kind of scene that because CARO is not applicable to holding company, CARO is also not applicable to subsidiary company. Why so? Because applicability of CARO shall be examined on company specific basis.
Yes.
On the other hand, because Punjab National Bank is a banking company, it is outside CARO purview, but at the same time it's a public company as well. Because every banking company is a company first, then it is licensed to act as a bank under Reserve Bank of India regulations. Further, if ABC Private Limited is a subsidiary of Punjab National Bank, ABC Private Limited will become a deemed public company under section number 2, clause number 68 and 71 of Companies Act 2013. It does mean that learning number 1, on a private limited company, CARO will always become applicable if this private limited company is becoming deemed public company, number 1. Number 2, on a private limited company, CARO will never be applicable. I repeat, CARO will never be applicable if all these 3 conditions are fulfilled. It may also happen that on standalone basis, a private company is fulfilling all these 3 conditions. But at the same time, such private limited company is also a subsidiary of a public limited company. In such a case, CARO will be applicable. Now, with this background, I need to ask a question, presuming that you have covered Companies Act. What if this ABC Private Limited is a subsidiary of a public company which is incorporated in USA? If this private limited company is a subsidiary of a public company which is incorporated in USA, whether this private company shall be deemed as public company, think very carefully before you reply. Sir, I am going for Indian Act only because CARO is under Indian Act and we are going for statutory report under Indian law only. As far as your answer goes, I will take SOX would be applicable. Sarbanes-Oxley Act would be applicable if that USA company is listed, else I am outside SOX even. What about CARO? Sir, in law there is no point of thinking. Give me precise answer.
It says only public company and not a listed company, which is a company which is listed in India. So
Sir, I did not even using this word listed. Let me reiterate my question. ABC Private Limited is a subsidiary of PQR Limited, a company incorporated in USA as public company. So whether this ABC Private Limited India shall be deemed as public company? That's the question. It's not a foreign company because once the company is incorporated in India, it becomes a domestic company. Think. This is what commentary is there. And you would be glad to know that this kind of question appeared in examination for the purpose of CARO 2003. And I can take this honor that this question came from my commentary. And I do believe, had this commentary not been there, still we can apply our senses. When I will reply you, you will say, yes, we knew the answer. To make a private limited company as a deemed public company in India, can I proclaim that that public company must be Indian company? Think. Whether the company incorporated in USA is a company for the purpose of Indian Companies Act? Answer is no. That does mean that that very company of USA has no connection with Indian law. In such a case, this private company will be having no connection for that very USA company, and thus it means that if a private limited company is a subsidiary of a public company incorporated outside India, this company still will remain nothing but private limited company, and this same thing was clarified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs on 29th of June 2014. In examination, you can simply write as per AMC circular of June 2014. 3 learnings are there. Number 1 learning, Caro never ever is applicable on these 3 first companies. Banking, insurance, section 8. Learning number 2, if a private limited company is a subsidiary of a public company incorporated in India, then Caro always will be applicable on the account of situation like this, that private company will become deemed public company. Learning number 3, if a private limited company incorporated in India is a subsidiary of a public company incorporated outside India, then this private company always will remain private company, nothing but the deemed public company. Why it will not become deemed public company? Because that company of USA has no connection with Indian law. The same thing was given by AMC circular as well. Up till now, if learning is stupendous, just see examiner psyche. As an examiner, I will test waters. But I will ask, ABC producer company has furnished you these information. Advise whether Caro is applicable or not. So whether on producer company, Caro would be applicable or not. That's why I asked in the morning. I believe that you have covered companies Act.
It's a private company.
Hmm?
So you have to check this condition.
Let me test other people. Yes, any idea? Sir, now you can think. Not at all? No. Non-applicable. Reason?
Because producer companies have a separate governing them,
Producer company is Pakistan.
separate chapter.
Separate chapter is there for every chapter. Director chapter is separate chapter number 12.
They are not like private company, they are producer company.
Very good. Very good. Yesterday I praised her, na? That's why today she is making mistakes. They are deemed private companies, correct. Like you were also saying. Producer companies, once incorporated, are given the status of private company. It does mean that in examination, if the question is for producer company, you will assume this producer company as it is nothing but a private company, and you need to test these very conditions. Similarly, with this background, it also does mean if this producer company will become a subsidiary of a public company, the status will change to deemed public company. Caro is always applicable. But you need to remember, the lawmakers have defined chapters. I am replying for this very counter reply. Every chapter is there for different provisions. For producer company, in the previous company law, we were having part 9A. Now in the new company law, similar provisions for producer companies are yet to be notified. For this very purpose, section 465 of Companies Act 2013 states that so long as the new provisions of producer companies are not notified under Companies Act 2013, the provisions which are contained in part 9A of 1956 Act will continue to be applicable. It does mean that for the purpose of examination and practice as well, you need to study Companies Act 1956 for producer companies. Why so? Because for producer company, new law has not been enacted. Now, up till now, the constant learning is we have tried to assimilate the commentary on these 3 companies and the commentary about deemed public company. It could be even public company outside India, inside India as well. Outside India, no connection. Inside India, connection.